Well, hello and welcome back. My name is Eva Marie Everson. Let me say that again, a little bit slower. Eva Marie Everson. I do get called by a lot of names. Trust me, I get Eve, I get Maria, I get it all. And maybe at Christmas, Ave Maria, but it's Eva Marie Everson, and I'm a best-selling award-winning author. I'm also the CEO of Word Weavers International, which is an international group of writers who are committed to helping each other along their writing journey. If you want to know more about Word Weavers International, go to word-weavers.com. If you want to know more about me, Eva Marie Everson, author.com. Don't go to evamarieeverson.com. That's a name squatter. Okay, so last time we met, I talked to you about one of the common mistakes writers make. I want to talk to you about another one. And this is more common than you might suspect. And that is getting those little sayings wrong. Let me just give you a couple of examples. And this is really a small thing, but here's what happens. We say things in a certain way so often that eventually it becomes commonplace. Here's one I hear a lot. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Now, that's something that you hear a lot in the South. And if you can't tell from my accent, I was born and reared in the South. The good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. That means hopefully. However, it's actually the good Lord willing and the creeks don't rise. See, it goes way back to some of the earliest phrases that we have in this country. So when you write something like that, now, if you're writing fiction and you're writing dialogue, you really don't have to worry about it so much. But otherwise, you might just want to look up some of those common sayings and make sure that you have them correct. Here's another one, and it is also one of my favorites. It's chomping at the bit. She's chomping at the bit. And it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And that means you're anxious for something, that like a horse would chomp at his bit. But actually, it's champing at the bit. That is the correct writing of this. Now, again, please don't stress over these things. These things have been said so many times incorrectly, if you will, that they've become correct. Here's one that actually came to me recently, not just as a writer, but as an editor and within the work that I do within Word Weavers International and Pen and Hand Incorporated, which is my company. And that is the word snafu. Now, snafu actually began as a military term, and it wasn't very nice. In fact, I'm not even going to encourage you to look it up, but I know you will, because that's just our human nature, right? So the word snafu is, and it means a mess up. There was a snafu in their plans. Something just got messed up along the way. It started off not to have the nicest of words attached to it. But today, we don't think about that so much. So we use the word snafu fairly commonly. And, you're just going to have to talk to your editor about whether or not it's okay to use that word. I remember one time I was writing a novel, and the line "You scared the dickens out of me" was said. It was done in a quote. It was done in dialogue. And my editor said, no, can't use that. Well, because within that particular publishing house, it meant something else. They had a more narrow view of what words and phrases could be said. And so I had to change that. Again, if you hear a phrase, or if you're writing a phrase and you're like, oh yeah, this is a really common saying, make sure that you look it up, look at the origins, make up your mind as to whether or not you want to use that particular word or phrase, etc. Even the word, and this is something so common in the South, dadgummit, that actually had some somewhat negative origins. Look it up if you want to. It's kind of funny, but it's something that we hear so commonly now that we don't think twice about it. Okay, that's my lesson for today. Again, if you want to know more about Word Weavers International, go to word-weavers.com. If you want to know more about me, Eva Marie Everson, author.com. And we will see you next time. Happy writing, or as I always say, write on.